This game is like crack. It's fun. It's actually fun. Like, I could just keep going on. I'm gonna stop. What's going on, guys? CautionCrazy here, bringing you a brand new topic on the channel. I'm sure you might be tired of hearing about this particular topic because everybody seems to be talking about it. And I mean everyone. Even people that you would not typically associate with this topic, people are talking about it. And of course, the topic, as you've already realized that we're talking about today, is Marvel Rivals. Now this game, I held off on it for a long time. I was like, oh, it's an Overwatch clone. I don't like Overwatch. It's bad. Not bad, like, it's not a bad game per se, but it's just not my cup of tea, right? It's not something that I really liked. I played a little bit of Overwatch when it came out, and then I played the most that I've ever played of an Overwatch type game was Paladins. But I haven't played that in years. Actually, you might even be able to find some old gameplay on my channel of me playing Paladins. And that was a fun game, but it got old. I got over it. But now we have this new game, Marvel Rivals, and look, I'm like a bit of a Marvel fan. Like, I've seen some of the Marvel movies, and Loki, like the season 2 of Loki was it was a peak Marvel cinema, in my opinion. It was one of the few Marvel shows that I started watching that actually got me hooked and kept me watching all the way through. I haven't really watched any of the other shows that came out. Yeah, I mean, my dad was more of the Marvel guy. I mean, I was always a Star Wars. He liked Star Wars too, but I was always just more of a Star Wars guy. And then, obviously Bleach. I got Bleach here. But then we have Rebirth of Souls coming. That's later this year. But right now, we're talking about the game that we can actually play, which is, Marvel Rivals. I like Marvel. I'm not against Marvel. I like Marvel, DC. It's superheroes. You can't really go wrong with that. And we do have some X-Men too, which is cool because I remember, like I said, my dad was a Marvel guy, so I remember being a kid and watching the old X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four movies and stuff like that, and remembering just like the good times, right? It's like very nostalgic. These are classic characters. I've heard that people have been complaining about the roster of characters that, NetEase started off with too many heavy hitters. What a brain dead take. What an absolute, buffoon take that you could make. At the end of the day, having all of these banger characters only helps the game to start off strong. What, so did you want them to just start off with a bunch of, no-name characters? And then have, one or two, you have Spider-Man and Iron Man, and those are your two main... Come on. What did you really expect? I mean, no, they gotta hit the ground running, man. They gotta start off strong and build from there. Now, if they continue to release DLC and new characters and stuff, and it starts to fall off and it doesn't seem to be fun anymore, that's a different conversation. Right now, they're talking about how too many characters and too many of the characters are heavy hitters, are the A-list Marvel characters. Dog, we don't even have Thanos, and that's not deep lore. That's just recency, I guess, bias. Endgame and what's the other one? See, I'm not a Marvel guy. I know a lot of the characters, but I also don't know a lot of characters. And then the movies, but I've watched a decent amount of the recent films. I did watch Love and Thunder for whatever reason. I like the other Thor movies, but that one kind of did not hit the same. But the fact is, we got a lot of characters, and I think they actually did it right, because all of the characters that you would have expected to be here are here. And then they also have some characters you wouldn't expect, like Magneto, right? When's the last time you heard of him? It's been a while. Now, another character that I'm expecting to get released as a DLC at some point, because, well, we just got the movie with Deadpool and Wolverine. Wolverine's here, but Deadpool's not. So, and you know that they're going to want to capitalize on Deadpool. There's going to be a lot of people that want to play Deadpool. That's the thing with this game, is Marvel has such a huge IP, so many different smaller IPs under the larger IP that they have a lot to work with. And I think what they have so far is a great start. I'm sure I have some gameplay going, but my two favorite characters right now, I guess you can call them my two mains, are Scarlet Witch and Cloak and Dagger. So I do understand that there's roles that you have to play. So I usually try to wait for the team to see what characters they want to play. Are they going to play like this? Do we have DPS covered? Do we have healing covered? I don't tank. I'm not a tank. You know, I just don't like it. I can manage healing other people, but trying to manage shielding them and doing all that and you know, managing other people and trying to get them like Hulk. His whole goal is to like take all these people that are like high DPS and get them away from the battle, so that way they're not, you know, shredding your teammates. I would rather just be healing the teammates that are getting shredded and using all my abilities, and then also with Cloak and Dagger, you know, so once I pop all my healing abilities, I swap over to Cloak and start trying to hit some DPS. You know, I'll throw my blinding shield thing that does a little bit of damage or whatever, and then I'll try to do some DPS up until I start seeing that people are getting low on health, especially those squishy characters, and start healing them up. So, you know, switching back to Dagger, start healing them up. Dagger is fun too, because I didn't realize for the longest time that as long as you're doing damage to enemies, you're also healing yourself. So I found a good play style with these two characters, and Scarlet Witch and Cloak kind of play very similar in the way that their DPS, like their basic attack works. Basically, it's within a range as long as your crosshair is within a certain range on the actual screen, and you're within a certain range of the enemy, you're going to just do damage to them. It's not going to be a lot of damage, and you'll have to make sure that you follow them and try to track a little bit, but I found that to be the best for me, because I'm in games typically not very accurate. It's just how it goes. So this is really helpful for me, having something like this, because I don't have to worry about the whole, you know, actual tracking and leading shots. And even with like Hela, right? She's hit scan, but there's no aim assist, and I like to play with a controller. You could call it a skill issue, whatever. I like to play with a controller and on a PC, so no aim assist. I don't know if there is on console. Fact of the matter is, I don't have it. So I play to my strengths, or and that's what's nice about this game, is there is no shortage of characters or the playstyles that you have. Like, I was watching Drifter, right? Drifter, I guess I didn't really know, I haven't watched him much in the recent years, but he's got a lot of issues right now, probably just due to the nature of his job, you know, probably like atrophying and stuff like that. I don't know the specifics, but regardless, they're not really important. The point is that when he plays a game like this, or Delta Force, he could play a sniper and actually be a viable character, you know, a viable person on the team. I had 2 games where I was playing as Cloak and Dagger, 2 games in a row where I was MVP, just because of the amount of healing that I did, combined with the amount of damage that I actually did from Cloak, and the damage blocked for, I'm pretty sure that's when you like kind of overheal them and you're blocking damage that's coming in. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Yeah, I haven't really watched like any, I'm just playing. I'm not like going balls to the wall, like looking at a bunch of tutorial videos. And I went through all the characters, found ones that I like the mechanics of the most, and I have a couple of them that I switch between. It's mostly Scarlet Witch and Cloak and Dagger, just because, again, they play very similar. And if we're in need of a healer, I'll just use Cloak and Dagger. If we're in need of DPS, I use Scarlet Witch. I've had a couple of MVPs of Scarlet Witch as well. So no matter what character you pick, even a 1-star character you can be an MVP with. You just got to know how to play them, how to position yourself, and how to support your team. And this game is just really fun. I don't know what it is. It's the same thing as Overwatch, and yeah, it's Marvel characters, and Marvel characters are cool, and like we all know them. But like, I'm not emotionally attached to any Marvel character. Like, I'm not like the only one that I would say is I guess Loki, because this is the most recent show that I watched, and I don't even like playing Loki. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, just because, well, you know, you're here, you're on CautionCrazy's channel, you already know we talk about Bleach. The voice actors in this, holy, you know, Marvel's really showing their money here, because these are A-list voice actors. You got Jushiro Ukitake, actual Jushiro Ukitake.
I would knit the dimensions back together if it were within my power.
He plays Doctor Strange. The first time I heard Doctor Strange, I was like, man, this guy sounds familiar. Why do he sound so familiar? And then as he starts talking, I'm like, yo, that's Jushiro. That's Jushiro. So we got him. Who else? You got not Wolverine. That's Steve Bloom, which is Dempsey. Freaking Tank Dempsey from COD Zombies. You got him as Wolverine. Who else was it? It was, oh man. So we got, it's Tom Hiddleston. No, that's the actual guy who plays Loki in the movies and the Loki series. Hold on. Travis Willingham. And Travis Willingham, if you don't know, okay, so in Marvel Rivals, he voices Thor. Okay? Now, I want to play a little clip of Thor here. And you gotta use a little bit of your imagination. You gotta kind of disconnect it. Because remember, he's going for a Thor voice, not for the Bleach character's voice. But if you listen to the subtleties in the way that he talks.
The true warrior is not defined by strength, but by courage.
Hear it? That's Ginjo right there. That's Ginjo. So is Ginjo also Akon, also Kokuto. So, of course, from the old Bleach anime, Akon was always voiced by, well, Travis Willingham. Which we didn't see him in the Fullbring arc, but when the Fullbring arc came around, and I believe before that was Bleach Movie 4, maybe it was afterwards, but when the Fullbring arc came around, they decided to cast Travis Willingham as Ginjo's voice. And then when 1,000 Year Blood War rolled around, they decided to recast Akon's voice, so that way, because from what I've seen, there's not going to be any named characters that are going to have the same voice actor, you know what I mean? Like, last night, I watched Shadows Gone, dubbed. It came out yesterday. I watched Shadows Gone, and I heard the voice actor that they used for Masaki in that most recent episode. She voiced some unnamed Soul Reaper character, and that's it. She doesn't play like anybody else, any named character. She provides supporting roles, but her named role is Masaki. So it's nice to see that they're really taking Bleach serious, and while some of the characters unfortunately got recast for one reason or another, I will say that all the cast has grown on me by Core 3. Shinji was one of those characters where, man, I miss the old Shinji, I do, and when I will go back and watch OG Bleach, it's a fun watch, because when you hit that you know, Arankar arc, episode 110, you know, introduction of Shinji, it's cool, it's fun, you know, it's a fun throwback, right? It's nostalgic, because you remember, like, this is Shinji with his, like, goofy personality. But I get it. 1,000 Year Blood War is not goofy. And not to say that voice actor couldn't do it. He probably could have done a more serious role. Either they couldn't afford him, he didn't want to do it, isn't here anymore, or doesn't voice act anymore. There's, like, so many different factors as to why the voice actor for Shinji couldn't reprise his role. I think it kind of goes without saying, but we all kind of know why Ikkaku or Vic Mignogna didn't return. Unfortunate. Not that Tad Habercorn is bad, Todd Habercorn is great. It is just kind of weird to hear Shishigawara as Ikaku, especially because Shishigawara fought Ikaku in Fullbring arc. But, you know, it's not like the worst. And I think it's kind of funny though, because I was rewatching. Sorry, I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I was rewatching like the Soul Society arc, and there is a part of the when Mayuri blows up his squad mates, and there's one of the guys that scream. It's a supporting role. It's Vic, and he screams, but it just sounds like Edward Elric. Like it just straight up Edward Elric. Like it's the same voice when you hear Edward scream, especially like. The where I remember it like mostly from, like the two that correlate the most is that scene there, and then when Edward's losing his arm and his leg and he's like screaming in pain. It's that same scream when Mayuri just like turns those dudes into human bombs. Anyways, to reel it back in, it's nice that Thousand Year Blood War is taking each character serious. Everybody has their own voice actor, except for I believe it's the same. Orihime and Soifone, I'm pretty sure, still have the same voice actor. But yeah. Now, in terms of Marvel Rivals, there is another character that is also played by a Bleach voice actor. Though, I guess it's technically the same one. I kind of just glossed over it. I didn't even gloss over it. I didn't even talk about it. Dr. Doom. And the reason why he's kind of an easily forgettable, I'm not going to say forgettable, but like, he's not a character, he's not a playable character, right? He's just in the story mode. That's the whole thing, is like Doom and the rivals or whatever. And nobody can beat Doom, or nobody's stronger than Doom, something like that. I don't remember what the trailer was. But anyways, Doom is also Ginjo, which is cool. And you can hear in the less like mechanicized whatever version of Doom, like the more like human version, he sounds more like Ginjo than when he looks like a robot or has all the stuff on his face, all his Doom gear. But yeah, so it's nice that Marvel Rivals is actually getting some of these high A-list actors. I mean, you got Hela. We were just talking about her. Dude, she's Asajj Ventress. She is Asajj Ventress. Okay, I'm pretty sure we also have Neliel's voice actor on the list, Colleen O'Shaughnessy.
Life energy is my eternal guide and the source of my powers.
I'm pretty sure I butchered her name, but that is Neliel's voice actor. But as far as I can see right now, it really is just 3 characters. It's Nell, who is Mantis. Then we got Jushiro, who is Doctor Strange, and we have Ginjo, the most notable one, who is Thor, as well as Doctor Doom. So I know that was a long tangent for just the voice actors when there was only 3 voice actors to really go over, but I just want to talk a little bit about Bleach and how, you know, they're doing so good with their voice actors and picking good roles. And also I just wanted to briefly talk about, real quick while I'm talking about that, the casting for Nanao's mom. I forgot her name, but Nanao's mom was really good. I thought that she played the role well, and she did bring some emotional distress to that character, which was nice because I could really feel that she was putting all she could into that role, and she was really getting across that, you know, Nanao's mom was really worried about the Shinken Hakyoken, and she did not want that to cause an issue with her daughter. And just, I don't know, I like the casting. That's all I want to say. I do like the casting that they did for this new character. I'm waiting to see next episode how they're going to handle the adaptation of Hugo and Baz, aka Ugram Hashwell and Baz B, you know, the child version's friend. So it's going to be fun to see who they cast for those younger roles. Hugo is probably going to be cast by a female, whereas Baz is probably going to be cast by a younger sounding male, or maybe even the same voice actor, with him just trying to raise his voice a little bit, raise the pitch of his voice. But Hugo most likely is going to get recast completely because the pure difference that they need that shock factor of having this very quiet, you know, I'm not gonna say feminine, but like, you know, very passive personality to who he is now, this very stoic, serious, down to business. This is what His Majesty wants, and that's what needs to be. Versus, I need to get a rabbit so I don't get beaten by my uncle, who was abusing me in more ways than just one. And having the like a little guy, and having his uncle be like, "Oh, my dear sweet Yugo, my precious Yugo," it would just be kind of weird to have. Like, it makes more sense for his uncle to be weird with him having a more feminine voice, a more childlike voice. Whereas Basby, when he meets Yugo, he's already he's very confident. He's pretty much the same Basby that we see in the episodes, like in the current arc. Basby hasn't really changed. His goals have been the same, and his personality's been the same. It's just Yugo who's really different, and you need that huge change, that shift from a completely different voice actor, which again I would say would be best to be cast as a girl, similar to like Kid Goku, stuff like that, versus having a more mature sounding voice actor. It's more than just one reason, right? Anyways, right now, as you can see, I'm mostly playing against bots. I do play against the 3-star bots, so I'm not playing against the 1-stars. But I don't have anybody else to play with right now, and it's not even like I'm playing ranked, but solo queuing, man. That's relying on it's hard enough to rely on the team with the bots when you got another team that's actually thinking, and your team is not. It's hard. I can only carry so much, and I'm not even that good at the game. I'm not trying to make it sound like I am, but I can only put in as much effort as I can. If I put in 110%, and by that I mean healing and doing DPS, and we still lose, I know that I got SVP. There's not really much else I can do. Check it out, dogs. Marvel Rivals, super fun game. Just an absolute great time. They did fantastic with this game. I'm really looking forward to the future of this game. Potential crossovers of different IPs, maybe. At least in the beginning, got plenty of Marvel IPs to work with. Plenty of Marvel characters that haven't been adapted yet. You got the Whistle dude from the Guardians of the Galaxy. That would be a very unique character to have, because he has that little arrow thing that he commands around, kind of like Senmon Zakura, where he can just basically will it where he wants it to go. Or I guess maybe more like Uri, I guess now, because he's got his ability lets him move his arrows, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that dude from Guardians of the Galaxy, he would be interesting. He would definitely be a DPS. I would say I would say sneaky, but you're not gonna really be sneaky if you're out here whistling. So he'd probably be a main battle, head-on DPS guy. Maybe not head-on, a little bit in the back, but definitely in the overall engagement of everybody. Just commanding around his whistle. Maybe it will have different abilities. You could slow down, or even, I don't know how they would do it. That's the fun thing about it too, is we know what their abilities are because of the movies and comics and stuff. But we don't know specifically how they're going to actually adapt them into the game and which role they're going to play. You can maybe make some guesses depending on what type of character they are. Like Hulk, I know he's in the game, but was anybody surprised that Hulk is a tank? Is anybody going to be surprised when the Thing is a tank? I don't really think so, right? There's very specific types of characters that do fit in the roles, and then there's going to be other characters that might really not. Like, I guess you could say Deadpool, technically he could be a tank, because he technically can't die, right? But I think he would be more DPS. And you could probably switch between using his dual blades or using his dual pistols. That would be cool. You got a ranged, it's kind of like not a counter, maybe a counter to Black Widow, right? Because she is melee and then long range with her sniper. He could be melee, and same thing, dual wield, melee, and then dual wield pistols, like Star-Lord. So basically a mix between Star-Lord and Black Widow would be Deadpool's basic L2 and R2 or left click, right click, right? And then he would have other kind of abilities that would let him, maybe regenerate health because of his mutant abilities, or anything like that. And I could go on all day I could go on all day. I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I'll put together a nice little list of like all of the Marvel characters that I would want to see in Marvel Rivals. And again, that's just me not even being like a huge Marvel fan. But there's characters that I've seen that aren't in the game yet. I mean, you got Ant-Man and the Wasp. That would be a cool little duo character. I don't really know how he would play, but then again, you got Invisible Woman, so it's not like it would be, but having a dude that would shrink down, or somebody, a tiny little bee that flies around the map, I can see how that would be hard. Like somebody like Widowmaker, good Widowmaker. Black Widow, sorry, I don't even play Overwatch like that, but you know, it's just kind of funny how Widowmaker and Black Widow are, you know, Widow in the name, both snipers. But yeah, somebody like Black Widow, good luck hitting somebody like Ant-Man or the Wasp. But somebody like Cloak and Dagger, you know, mostly Cloak. Even Dagger too, because her daggers kind of do have a little homing once, you know, if you're within a certain range. But Cloak and Scarlet Witch would probably be the two best counters to somebody like Ant-Man and the Wasp if they have this like miniaturizing ability, because you basically just have to have your crosshair near them and you'll do damage. And I would assume that you would probably take a health decrease by shrinking down as well in return for having like more agility. You know, maybe you can jump higher, you move faster, so you'll be harder to hit, but you're also, if you do get hit, it's only going to take like 1 or 2 hits for you to die. Good balance. I would think that that's how they would do it. And there's just so many other characters that they can pick from. I mean, you got Guardians of the Galaxy, you got the Thor movies, you got Loki, you got the actual Avengers movies, you got the X-Men movies. I mean, dude, there's just so much. Dog, I've been talking about this for 35 minutes, and I could go on for another 35 minutes. I could go on for another hour. This game is good. If you haven't played it, just download it. It's free. There's nothing to lose except for some storage space. If you don't like it, delete it. But like, I'll tell you, from somebody who doesn't like Overwatch style games and doesn't like, I'm not a Marvel dick rider or anything. Like, I just, everybody's been talking about it from the communities that I watch, just briefly mentioning it, and then people like, you know, Charlie and Mudahar, and you know, just basically anybody who's in the gaming industry or in the gaming space is talking about Marvel Rivals right now. And I was like, you know what? Everybody's talking about it. Let me just download it. I also searched in Steam for free-to-play PvE games, and it did list as a PvE game because you have that, you know, player team versus bots mode, and there was some data mined, data from the game files that they may have a PvE mode that they're working on. Either they're working on it or it was scrapped. But the point is that the idea of having PvE has been floated around in the game, and it even got as far as to getting into the game files. So at some point they were like, yeah, maybe a PvE game would work well, and I think it will. But I do think that they should focus on making this core experience good for everybody, and to focus on as many complaints as they have, which I'm sure aren't many, but whatever they are, they focus on them. And then once they have a community nice and built up, and they've retained that community, because retention is also a big thing. You know, Black Ops 6 probably had like millions of users. They released that screenshot or whatever of like the most players on launch. Where are they all now? Not playing Black Ops 6, probably playing Marvel Rivals or Delta Force. So, you know, launch numbers mean nothing. It's all about retention. Let me see where we're at 2 months down the line. If they're still maintaining and, you know, holding on to the same amount of players. Because right now, I think, from the video that I watched last night, I think it was Mudahar or maybe it was somebody else, but regardless, the average like loss to gain for player base is 9, and that's a positive 9, and that means that for every player that leaves, there are more players picking up the game. And I can attest to that. I'm sure that there were people that left where I picked up the game, and I've been logging in consistently every day. I think yesterday was the only day that I didn't, and that's just because I was super busy. I've just been hopping on, playing this PvE type mode, and having a blast. And I'm sorry if, you know, you feel offended by me not playing ranked or not playing in casuals online with people, but dude, I'm having a swell time just playing against bots. And learning the mechanics, learning the maps, so that way when I do jump into online, which I've played a couple of online matches, I don't feel like I'm lost. I feel I can actually contribute to the team, and we can win. And we did. The first few games that I played online, I kept losing. And then I played a couple of bot matches, got used to the characters I was playing, played those same characters in the online games, and played with the same idea. I even forgot that I was playing against people for a little bit, and just started going ham, and we won. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just too good to not talk about. You gotta pick it up. You gotta try it. Big Dog, Big D Shmoola, my boy on the beat. I know you listening. Okay, get this game. It's like 60 gigs. Hop on with me. I mean, I know you're not a Marvel guy, but just, you know, you gotta try it. And you, to all the other viewers out there, all my caution crazies, bro, come get crazy with me on this game, bro. It's actually good. I'm about to stop this video. Or I want to stop this recording, go get some gameplay so I can actually put this video together, edit that, and then continue playing some more. This game is like crack. It's fun. It's actually fun. Like, I could just keep going on. I'm gonna stop. If you guys like the video, make sure you like. If you want to share any thoughts, any, you know, best plays, anything about Marvel Rivals, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Let me know who your favorite character to main is. I'd say main, but who your favorite character to play is. And I would say what your favorite map is, but honestly, I don't even remember the maps. I don't really care what the maps are. Not to say that the maps are bad. I do like all the maps. I haven't played any of the maps and been like, I hate this map. That's very rare. Usually, like, there's at least one map where I'm like, yeah, this map sucks. I hate this map. No. Every map that I've played, it's like, it makes sense. I've gotten used to how they play. They have a good flow. And maybe that's also, you know, the game's designed around, the maps are designed around the game modes that they're on. And it's not just a hodgepodge of different game modes, or different maps that were designed for different types of game modes that are just, you know, allowed to be played on any game mode just for the sake of having more content. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to end it here, not there. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. This has been CautionCrazy, bringing you another crazy review. Marvel Rivals, download it right now, free on Steam. One of the best games of 2025, I'm going to call it right now. Best game of 2025 most likely is going to be Bleach Rebirth of Souls, but that game is not out yet. That's also a different genre of game. This is going to be the best shooter of 2025, I'm calling it right now. And the best fighting game 2025 could very well be Bleach. Could be Bleach. There's a lot of depth to that game. I want to make another breakdown video for that, but that's going to be, again, down the line once I can get some more gameplay, once I can talk about it. I mean, I have plenty of gameplay that I could use if I really want to make a video. We'll see what happens. But for right now, that's going to make it for this video. 40 minutes and 50 seconds. That's a long-ass video. That's what we're going to call it today. CautionCrazy, signing out.
But they can't take away the fire.